Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, the other host. But
This is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel that began in the year 2000. In an attempt to bring Marvel Comics and its characters into the 21st century. So they started a whole new universe called the Ultimate Universe with titles like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate X-Men, and the Ultimates, just to kind of refresh and bring their characters into the 21st century with a new version of their origins and new versions of their classic tales. So every week we just cover a new batch of issues from the original Ultimate Universe. This week we are back to Ultimate Fantastic Four. We're covering issues 21 through 23, and this is a very exciting arc. Josh, what did you think of these issues?
I like them, and I think I enjoy them a bit more. You complained to me about the art. I do have to agree with you on the art. The art is not bad, in my opinion, but it's just so much more different than what we've been used to. And also, it reads a lot of some of the way it depicts women. I think it's very outdated and a little gross, very 2000s Michael Bay-esque.
Yeah, I think we should preface by saying that this arc begins the Mark Millar, Greg Land run on Ultimate Fantastic Four. It's an interesting combo, to say the least. Greg Land, for one thing, is a comic book artist who, for those of you who don't know, is infamous for his illustrations, particularly because he is known to trace images from porn, and it shows. If you look at any of the women that he draws, or even some of the men, frankly, it's kind of rough. I'm not a huge fan of Greg Land's work. Sometimes I can tolerate it, and other times I'm like, yikes. And then there's Mark Millar, who we've talked about a lot on this podcast. And I think he's a good writer, but he's also a very edgy early 2000s vibe of a comic book writer.
He was great first time, and I still think his stuff is not bad. It just hasn't aged the best.
Yeah, I think I agree. And we've talked about his work on the Ultimates and Ultimate X-Men, and there's a lot of good stuff there. And then there's a lot of stuff that you look at and you're like, yikes. And I think when you combine Mark Millar and Greg Land, you get an interesting combo. We were talking about this earlier. It's probably more like a Michael Bay movie than anything else. It's very fun, it's entertaining, but it's pretty mindless, and you shouldn't think too hard about it because there's a lot of problematic elements to it.
Yeah, especially regarding the way they draw and write women.
Yeah.
Especially how they draw women, because I don't think Sue herself is dumb or bad in any way or in this comic, but just the way they draw her is a little, how everyone complained about the way Megan Fox is depicted in the first Transformers movies nowadays.
Yeah, I think Sue is very well written in these issues, but yeah, if you look at how she's depicted in the illustrations, it's pretty uncomfy to see. We'll point it out as we go, but there's a lot of shots of her with, because she already had this kind of crop top uniform, and now it's unzipped, the jacket's wide open, she's basically wearing a sports bra underneath. Sometimes it's just hanging off of her. A lot of the times it's just you're straight up looking at her boobs, or there's shots
or her butt.
Yeah, close-up shots of her butt or something.
And this should make people uncomfortable, because we are always talking about how uncomfortable Ultimate Storm and Jean make us. Sue is 16, 17, 18, 19-ish in these comics, technically.
Yeah, so it's a little uncomfy to look at, and also so gratuitous. And the art seems like it is trying to appeal to the teenage boy demographic in how overtly horny it is. So that's not great. But for the most part, I will say these are fun issues. This first arc that we're talking about, this is kind of the introduction to Marvel Zombies, which is huge. I mean, it was huge in the 2000s and early 2010s, and it's had so many different miniseries and spin-offs. It was especially famous for the first two miniseries, Marvel Zombies 1 and 2, written by Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead fame and Invincible, and illustrated by Sean Phillips. And it's a lot of fun. I love Marvel Zombies. And then they went on to do a zillion other spin-off series and everything. And There's even a Disney Plus series coming this fall in September this year.
There's even a couple. I think they even have multiple universes in Marvel Zombies because they've redone the story one or two times as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Marvel
Yeah.
Zombies became huge. So this is a big deal considering this is where it all began. This is how
Yeah.
the idea came about, and was kind of the backdoor pilot for Marvel Zombies, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, without further ado, Josh, should we just get right into it?
Yeah. Issue 21 opens with a very classic Fantastic Four stuff. If you watch any of the cartoons, or actually just the cartoons, there's always that scene where the Fantastic Four are in the Mesozoic era, and it's revealed the Thing punched out a T-Rex.
Yeah, it's a very classic, fun, like Fantastic Four time travel adventure where they're just like was it the Cretaceous period or?
Yeah, Cretaceous.
And
Mesozoic is all the dinosaurs. Cretaceous is the last of the dinosaurs.
And so the Thing is just punching out a T-Rex, and he and Johnny are there. It's 150 million years in the past. Meanwhile, 200 million years in the past, so 50 million years before those two, we have Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman there when the first life was spawned on Earth, or the first creatures to roam the Earth came about.
They're waiting specifically for the first animals to go onto the land. They're like the fish that move from the ocean to terrestrial environment, thus being the ancestors of dinosaurs and humans and amphibians and all that.
Yeah, it's really funny because Reed's like, hey, over the comms, he's like, remember, don't do anything super crazy. Remember, any small movement, the classic butterfly effect, if you step on anything wrong or touch anything, you're going to do a lot of damage to the timeline. And Ben has literally just punched out a T-Rex and he's like, whoops.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scene from World's Greatest Heroes where like Reed tells, "Hey, don't do anything crazy," and Ben goes, "I punched out a T-Rex."
Yeah, like whoops, it's a little too late for that.
This is an other story because it's revealed that time-traveling terrorists have traveled back in time and they're trying to hold the world's ransom by threatening to shoot the ancestors of humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a crazy intro to this story because these terrorists show up 200 million years in the past where Reed and Sue are, and they threaten the predecessor to humanity. They threaten our ancestors and are like, we'll kill this thing. And Reed's like, well, then our lives will be forfeit. All of humanity will just never have existed. What's the point? And they're like, life's not worth living unless you have money anyways. So they're like, we want a couple $1 billion from the UN, and we will hold this life form hostage until we get it. And these guys are like, oh yeah, we studied the Fantastic Four. We know all your powers. And Sue's like, did you know about my force fields? And they're like, what? And she's like, yeah, of course you didn't see them because they're invisible. And she just knocks them out. And I think it's really funny because it's like, okay, you guys clearly didn't brush up on your FF knowledge. And it kind of reminds me about how in the original Lee Kirby run, Sue didn't even get like her force field abilities until I want to say around 20 issues in or so. For a while, she could really just turn invisible, and that was it. And they needed to give her more to do. So she was given these invisible force fields. So it feels like maybe it's not intentional, but for me, I just read it as, oh, these guys didn't really get that far into the original Lee Kirby run. They just think she turns invisible.
Didn't they do that after they had a comic where the Fantastic Four read their own fan mail and people kept asking, what does Sue do? And the next issue, she has the force fields.
Yeah, I don't think it was that soon. I don't think it was the next issue, but it was pretty soon after that, probably. They're like, okay, we should actually...
She is pretty useless. We gotta change her up a bit.
Yeah, if she can just turn invisible, then that's probably not the most useful thing. You give her force fields now, on the other hand. It took them a while for them to develop them, of course. A while, probably like a couple of decades, I feel like. And then she became the most powerful member of the team. And that's kind of what we're seeing here in the Ultimate Universe. Like, she is ultra powerful with these force fields.
So Sue kicks her ass with the force field, and then we had to zoom up the butt and her high waist because that's the first of these weird issues. And I note that because the next panel we do it again with Black Widow because Reed calls into Captain America and says like, "We got him, Captain. We're gonna come back to the regular time period. And also, we're gonna pick up Johnny and Ben because we left them with the dinosaurs."
Yeah, so they all return to the present day with the terrorists in tow, and the Ultimates are there waiting for them, it's a pretty cool cameo just to see these two cross over for just a second.
And it also just shows how small this universe is still, where they actually reference the other franchises, the characters interact with each other because it's still a pretty small universe.
Yeah.
And I think later they revealed there's less than actually 1,000 metahumans, including mutants, in the Ultimate Universe so far,
Yeah.
according to Reed. Yeah, so
Yeah, it's a very young universe, especially the metahuman population.
mhm.
But they arrive there and they like hand off the terrorists to the Ultimates, and then as they leave this building, then they're swarmed by the press because for those of you who remember at the end of the last arc where they returned from the end zone, they have now officially gone public, whether they wanted to or not, after the incident with Annihilus. And so the press is swarming them, and it's also revealed that Johnny just leaked where they were going to be to the New York Daily News because
Hmm.
he's like, hey, we may as well embrace it. Why not?
That's a real newspaper,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike the Daily Bugle, unfortunately.
Yeah. Who is the next guys who show up? Because the Daily Bugle goes like, "What do you think of this?" And Reed goes like, "It was just like one guy, and now there's like thousands of like superhumans."
Yeah.
And Reed goes like, "Oh, I have a prediction that if one post-human shows up, which will be the term the Maker uses later, who
Hmm.
is the supervillain version of Reed." By the way, they use a lot of different terms to describe non-mutants people in this arc. They use metahumans like DC,
Yeah.
and they use post-humans. And Reed goes, if one post-human appears, that means there's an exponential chance more will appear. And then the press are like freaking out about it, like, that's not cool with us.
Which is a pretty cool theory. It's kind of like the idea of escalation. As
Yeah,
one shows up, then more will show up, and then, of course, more and more and more. It's kind of this self fulfilling prophecy of, all right, we're going to get more superheroes and more supervillains as they keep appearing. It's like the idea of Batman showing up in Gotham City. And then all of a sudden, you see the rise of crazy supervillains like the Joker, and then Two-Face, and the Riddler, and Poison Ivy, and all these
yeah,
guys, you know?
yeah. And I think it's also this thing you could, because like this is a very sci-fi esque concept of like if the conditions are right for one guy with powers to appear, it probably means others will soon appear too. You know, like
Exactly.
yeah, if one's made, that probably means conditions are right for another to be made.
And that's the same thing with the Ultimate Universe. And a lot of the
Yeah,
themes in this universe that we've been seeing about this genetic arms race, people trying to catch up with the rise of mutants in this new universe, and then Spider-Man comes out of this, and then so do the Ultimates, and because the government wants their own metahuman team.
and like the government and these companies not really realizing, the ramifications of doing this, of just like ramping up the production of potentially dangerous genetic experiments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of like real life with like first nuclear weapons, and now everyone's freaking out about the AI stuff.
No, totally. It's a
Yeah,
total reflection of the real world. So it's cool how
yeah.
that is brought into light. And I think Mark Millar is good with those big ideas.
So, yeah. It also reminds me of when the X-Men were first started. They were called the Children of the Atom because
Mhm.
everyone's like, it's the atomic age. What does it mean? Like mutations? We could destroy the world now for the first time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like the
yeah,
Fantastic Four were originally born out of the space race and the Cold War competition with the Soviet Union. That's like also where you get the fear of radiation from creation of the Hulk and Spider-Man and
yeah,
all these guys.
yeah. Because I think we forget that, like, when these characters were made, it was like the first time in history that we as a people could just wipe each other out for the first time, which we've never been able to do.
Yeah, thank
And now
God.
we're just used to it. Yeah, now we're
Yeah.
just used to the fact that we could, like, at any time, we could just, like, end the world, you know?
Yeah, it always feels like the end of the world and like
Yeah.
any day could be our last, unfortunately.
I mean, like, we've been very blessed that all of our crazy politicians and leaders in history have not been crazy enough to actually push the button, except for, like, the very first time. And then they're like, man, we shouldn't do that again. Let's write some comics and sci-fi novels out of
Let's
this.
scare people out of this.
Yeah.
Let's scare them straight.
Yeah. Yeah, but so they fly back to the Baxter building, and Johnny loves the attention from women. Like, there's women gathering outside to see them on the skyscraper, and even Reed kind of goes like, "Man, I do kind of like this attention." I'm like, "See who's right there, man."
Yeah, I feel like in Reed's case, it's more about this arc seems like he's more excited and more interested now in being a superhero than he was before, which is an interesting idea because, first and foremost, they have been scientists and explorers and everything, and now they're
Hmm.
getting into more superhero territory with their powers and the adventures they've been on. And I think Reed's actually liking this,
Yeah,
which is not easy because they return to the Baxter building and Dr. Storm, Johnny and Sue's dad, is pissed at them again for doing shit like this, crazy shit like fighting terrorists across time. and they're acting like
Ho-
hot shots and they're showing off. And
he is also saying their experiments are potentially like gonna cause the end of humanity
yeah.
too.
And I think the
Like,
big fear too is just for his children, has been this whole time. He's like worried about Reed putting his kids at risk, and he keeps doing it. And I'm just like, yeah, poor Dr. Storm at this point.
yeah,
And he's even saying too that, like, because the Fantastic Four in this universe, they have investors. Like, they have private investors, and they also are government funded as well. And Dr. Storm's like, they're getting worried, and you're supposed to be scientists, not superheroes, and you're supposed to like see progress on stuff that can actually make change in the world and has applications for military use or for any societal purpose generally.
yeah.
So he's like, you can't be doing stuff like this again. No more superheroics. And Reed's like, okay. But of course, he has his fingers crossed.
Yeah, it also is a reflection of how much times have changed since the original comics. Because in the original comics, they were not this dependent on donors,
Mm-hmm.
which was like how actually like stuff worked back then. And now everything is dependent on how many donors and big companies and government agencies can invest in your project. So I don't know if this was on purpose, but it's also like a reflection of how much like institutions changed. Weirdly enough.
Yeah. I mean, the early
So
Fantastic Four, funnily enough, did have money problems. And that
yeah,
might be because they had to finance themselves rather than
yeah.
having investors like the Ultimate Fantastic Four.
And here they have minions.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four have like minions. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, because they're working for the government, really. I remember Fantastic Four number 9. I remember this very clearly. They go broke and get kicked out of the Baxter building. And then it's the story where they get tricked by Namor, who has become a Hollywood producer, I swear to God. And he promises to make a movie out of them. And he produces this whole fake movie, but it's really a plot so he can like beat up the other 3 and win Sue over. And it's a very goofy, ridiculous story. But that's the first thing I think about when I'm always like, when the Fantastic Four had money problems back in the day. Oh, yeah.
I bet that was written because Stan Lee had money problems, and he was like pissed at his landlord. He's like, I'm gonna make fun of them in a comic. Arr!
And
That's my,
Hollywood all at once.
which is funny because I feel Stan Lee was always a guy who wanted to be big on Hollywood,
Yeah.
and he kind of succeeded, but
Yeah,
actually
in a
super
way.
succeeded. Actually, it was in all the MCU movies.
All his glorious cameos.
Yeah, and he probably made bank off of the MCU a bit. Actually, I have no idea because Marvel's really
I
bad
mean,
with that.
not
But
really, actually. He was listed
oh
as like
damn,
executive producer, but that was more of an honorary title.
oh damn, poor Stan Lee.
I mean, he still made plenty of money by the end of his life, but well, then there's
Yeah,
all the sad
unlike
stuff about elder abuse, and we don't need to get into that. He was taken advantage of a lot for his money. But yeah, then later they all go back to their quarters in the Baxter building, and Reed is experimenting as he does and tinkering with stuff. And Sue
Ben.
approaches him, and my God, the horny Greg Land art strikes again because she's
You know,
standing there. Her jacket is hanging off her shoulder, and it's wide open, and she's just got this sports bra underneath, and it's like, my God, dude.
they did change her costume in a way I feel was a little better in the sense that like it's no longer well, it still kind of is actually, but it's not like a crop top uniform. It's more of a regular jacket, and she just unzips it. That being said, I'm like, look, she's 16 through 19 ish. It wasn't cool with Jean. It wasn't cool with Storm. I don't know why you should do it with Sue Storm.
But it's just so clearly like, okay,
Yeah,
this was traced
and
off of porn.
yeah, you just get shots of her butt
Yeah, and like
like
she's
multiple times.
she's like standing around in this very seductive way, and she's mad that Reed is basically losing himself in his work instead of paying attention to her.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah,
hey girl, Reed's on a roll.
yeah,
He's got important stuff. Just saying.
he does. Because then we learn that he's looking into this alternate dimension that contacted him after their trip to the end zone. And after Sue leaves, it's this hologram, seemingly of Reed Richards from the main universe from Earth 616. And
Yeah.
he's got the classic costume and everything, and he looks just like him. And it's a hologram of him and his son Franklin. And he's like,
Yeah.
hey, you and Sue could be together. This is our son, Franklin. We have a daughter, Valeria. We're very happy on this earth. And
He also says like, "Oh, don't worry about Sue. She only she gets mad and she'll cool off real quick. She only gets mad for like 2 to 3 days, 3 weeks tops." And I'm like, "That's a long ass time. Like,
yeah,
that's not like getting angry and like you cool off. That's like getting angry for a while, bro."
yeah, seriously. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't really like the way that Mark Millar writes like the relationship between Reed and Sue. It's like the same thing in like Civil War, which he also wrote, where again Reed is constantly distracted and can never give her the time of day, and she's always pissed off at him. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay, I get it. Reed is distractible and he can be obsessive with his work, but you have to strike a balance and be like, oh, he wants to spend time with his family and he actually takes the time to do that and he actually cares. And there is like a good relationship there.
It's like the thing in the weird time of the 2000s, I feel, where like they're like, you know what a real man is? A real man is a guy who hates to go home to his family. And I'm like, yeah, I mean maybe, but that's a dick. That
Yeah.
guy's a dick.
Yeah.
Especially because like there's like a level of hypocrisy or irony that this guy's like, oh, I know I'm gonna make it with Sue because like it doesn't matter how mad I'll make it. In this universe, we have a family, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that's another universe.
Yeah.
Like, make things right with her now.
Yeah, even like this seemingly main universe read is like, hey, this could be the difference with our universe. Maybe you don't end up with Sue, like in our universe. Who knows? Because there are a lot
Yeah.
of differences there. Like, Ultimate is like funded by private investors and the government, and then they were like self financed in the main universe. And it's very different. It seems a lot more cynical in the Ultimate universe than 616. Ultimate Reed has been inspired by this version of Reed Richards, and he's like, I want to be a superhero. I want to be like Spider-Man or like Captain
Yeah.
America, because this main Reed has this seemingly noble goal he's got for him. He's like, we're getting together a whole, I think this was even before the Jonathan Hickman run, so he's basically saying he's getting together a council of Reeds essentially.
To do.
Yeah. To like solve this big problem. And so also a big difference too is that main Reed Richards is talking to the ultimate Reed and he's like, yeah, you shouldn't do this alone. Why don't you get help from Ben or Johnny? What are they doing? And ultimate Reed's like, oh, they don't understand. They're off doing their own thing.
He actually does reveal in like a few issues down the line in this arc that they kind of do have social lives, unlike him. Though I did like earlier where it's revealed Ben was just staring like, "Hey guys, you have a giant maggot and you're
Yeah.
experimenting on it, and it's just on the side." And he goes like, "You guys, we aren't talking about this. It's kind of cool. Okay, we're moving
Yeah.
past this."
That was a funny scene. But like, I think that is a big difference, I feel, between Ultimate Read and main universe Read. But you constantly see, especially in the early comics for the Fantastic Four in the 60s, is that Reed is constantly getting help with his experiments from the rest of the four. He's constantly like showing them his experiments, demonstrating that. They're constantly around. I feel like this Reed is more isolated in the Ultimate Universe, and I think that is a pretty big difference.
I don't know if that was on purpose though, but like I do know that difference is what allows Marvel writers to look down and goes like, "Oh, we could turn him into a supervillain because of the
Mm,
fact he is so different." But I don't know if it was written with that in mind, or if that was a conscious thing of like, we got to make this Reed more of a loner, like
yeah.
a broody, edgy hero, because that
Yeah.
was all the rage in the 2000s with action movies and stuff like that.
It might not have been
You know,
intentional, but I think in hindsight, you read Ultimate Fantastic Four and you kind of see, oh, this is like a supervillain origin story.
yeah, it's I do love it when they have like, because I feel you could do this more easily with Marvel. You just have these things where like because of a writer's accidental style or choice with the character, you could go like, this character is going to be a hero down the line, or this character is going to be a supervillain down the line. Like some people are saying, the way Spider-Man has been butchered these last few decades is like, man, he has all the things ready to be a supervillain.
Yeah, but I don't want that for him.
It's too late, man. We
That's
gotta
what I
let the
love about
characterization march
Spider-Man,
on.
though, is like no matter what he goes through, he remains good. He remains a hero. If they changed that, that would kind of ruin the character for me.
Well, Superior Spider-Man once almost destroyed all of time. Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean that's Doc Ock and Peter Parker's body. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, but Reed 616 where he goes, hey, like you said, we're gonna have a council of kinds, and so like, yeah, it's like you come first, and then like we'll get the others, and he teleports Reed into his universe where
Yeah.
he just sees dead bodies everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's like, this is an apocalypse.
Ultimate Reed goes to this other universe and is like, what the fuck? Like, it's empty almost entirely. Everything's destroyed. There's just corpses lying around on the street. There's birds picking at the corpses. And this is such a cool bait and switch because you thought, oh, we're going to get a crossover between Ultimate and 616. Nope. Psych, because the last page is just the zombified Fantastic Four approaching Reed and being like, ever got the feeling you've been had? So this is the introduction to Marvel Zombies. You think it's going to be a big ultimate main universe Marvel crossover. Nope. It's Marvel Zombies, baby.
Yep. And I really love the next arc because it's like a classic thing of like a nerd who's like not super fit running his ass off trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. But now you also have the fact it's like he has powers, so it's a little weirder.
Yeah. No, totally. It does become
Yeah.
a really fun zombie horror movie. And I will hand it to Greg Land here. I think the art on these zombies is super well done. I think they look terrifying. I think they look exactly how you would want zombified Marvel characters to look. And
Yeah.
maybe that's because usually when Greg Land draws people, they look horrifying already. So maybe it's just perfect.
I also just love the way he drew the classic heroes, like all 3DS, as opposed to the cartoony style of Ultimate Marvel.
Yeah.
It's like 616 styles, and it's just looks nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that a lot too in the flashbacks at the beginning of issue number 22 where you get the origin of this universe where apparently a flash of light just randomly appeared in the sky, something crashed down in the earth, and the classic Avengers, like you're saying Josh, were sent to investigate. So you see them in their traditional outfits like Captain America and Hawkeye
Colonel
and
America in this one.
Colonel America in this version, yeah. And like Carol Danvers when she was still Ms. Marvel, and then the Scarlet Witch, and all the classic
Yeah.
Avengers you would picture.
Yeah, she
And
hasn't been promoted to captain yet.
not yet, no, that didn't
But
happen till
Captain
like
America has been promoted to colonel.
somehow, yeah. Talk about a inequality between genders. This is ridiculous.
In your take, is Captain America actually a captain at this point, or is it just like a title and is really like a major or colonel?
I'm sure it's just a title. I think Captain just has a better ring to it.
I agree. Like, yeah, like Colonel America just there's nothing cool about
It's,
Colonel America.
yeah, it's not the
Colonel is
same.
like a Colonel is like a desk job. Captain is like an action hero.
Yeah, he's the guy who goes out into the field, and he's like the one who like is on the ground doing the hard work.
Yeah, Colonel America runs like a field hospital, which is cool, but like,
It's still better than
it's
General America.
yeah. Oh, that just sounds like a store. That's like, oh, at General America, I'm gonna like, do you want a Diet Coke or like a real beer?
Yeah, it sounds like a gas station or something. I don't know. It just doesn't sound very glamorous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a zombified sentry who turns the Avengers, and then they start going after superhumans.
Yeah, and it's like
To
a
turn.
sentry from another universe, apparently, that just unexplained at this point, but is later explained, and we won't get into it. But yeah, he infects the other heroes, and within 24 hours, all of the superhumans are infected and become zombies, which is crazy.
Which I have a problem with because they include Iron Man and Doctor Strange as zombies, and I'm like, they aren't superhuman; they're regular people.
That's true. I guess, honorary superhumans, I guess. They have special abilities, and so like all the superheroes, I guess, even if they don't have powers.
Yeah, and it's also how if you watch the What If episode on Marvel Zombies, how What If
Hmm.
happens to with the flash of light. The wasn't Sentry, it was Ant Man.
Yeah,
Mike Douglas Ant Man, and
and the Avengers go to investigate.
yeah, and then Mike Douglas bites Captain America. Yeah,
It's funny because this is where it begins in Ultimate Fantastic Four. It spins off into Marvel Zombies. Similarly, in What If, you see Marvel Zombies in an episode, and now it's getting spun off into its own series, which is
yeah.
awesome.
When I found out as a kid, like it was like a teenager about Marvel Zombies, I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I'm like, really, zombies? Like you can't do an entire comic book about superheroes being zombies. This is and it's okay. It's
It's
surprisingly pretty good.
It's fun. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it is. I read it last year, like around Halloween, for the first time. I went through most of the main series, and it's a good time. I think the
Yeah.
Robert Kirkman stuff is fun because that just feels like a campy, like Evil Dead kind of vibes,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of goofy horror vibes to it. And then 3, 4, and 5, can you believe they do that many? That they do more than that, even. But the ones
Yeah.
that are called 3, 4, and 5 are fun because it's about Machine Man, Werewolf by Night, and even Howard the Duck, and the Midnight Suns. These offbeat, weird characters going up against zombies in the main universe. So it's fun. Anyways, that's my
Should we
tangent.
do? We should do Marvel Zombies. I have not read it in like a decade.
We should do it around the time the series comes out.
Oh yeah, we should. I mean, it is Ultimate adjacent, really
That's
close to
true.
Ultimate adjacent.
Yeah.
I just remember this about Ultimate Zombies is that everyone in that comic gets the power cosmic because they eat Galactus.
Yeah.
You see, that's how the Fantastic Four should have done it in the movie. He is apparently edible.
They eat the Silver Surfer, and then I think they
Oh.
also eat Galactus after that.
See, if they just ate Julia Garner Silver Surfer, Galactus wouldn't have been a problem.
I can think of all sorts of problematic porn to come out of that one.
I mean, if we get a commission, I'm not going to complain.
No, thank you.
Hey, Dad, where do we get all this money? I was like, you see, I made a comment on a podcast and it got turned into porn. And
don't
we made 5 cents
about
of every viewing.
Anyways, after the zombified FF explained to Reed how they became zombies, which is convenient, Reed's like, well, then why did you ask me to come here? And they're like, we ran out of food. We're hungry, man. We ate everyone.
It kind of reminds me how, in some versions, once zombies run out of food, they get a little smarter and they evolve.
Yeah.
And then, in this case, they're like, oh, Reed's already the smartest man on Earth that is a zombie. Once they're done eating, they're luring people in from other dimensions, like spiders.
No, it's super fun. I think it's hilarious. It's a simple yet effective motivation. Why did the zombies want him there? Because they're hungry. They needed someone or something to eat. It's fine. Don't worry about the rest.
Why'd you make that machine? You could use it to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why'd you make this machine? It's like, I got hungry.
Yeah, we're zombies. We want to eat you. Why else?
We don't have a bigger motivation than that.
You don't need a more complex motivation. You just need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to keep it simple.
Yeah, so Reed runs. He's like this nerd. He's kind of like Jesse Eisenberg in that zombie movie. I can't remember its name.
I love Zombieland. Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, but he has glasses and he's just running for his life.
Yeah, I mean, luckily he also has stretchy powers, so that gives him an advantage. But yeah, he gets chased by the zombie Fantastic Four, and he loses them in the sewers, and then he gets topside around Times Square. And that's when he's confronted by all the other zombified Marvel heroes. Spider-Man's there, Daredevil, Elektra. Zombie Hulk then shows up, and he's like,
Hulk is the hungriest of all.
Yeah, which is so fun. Oh, I love it. Funnily enough, then all of a sudden, he's miraculously saved from this swarm of zombified Marvel heroes because a bunch of cars come crashing down from the earth. There's a whole double-page spread then of a bunch of cars falling from the sky. And out of everyone to save him, it is Magneto. Hell yeah, Magneto, the last surviving superpowered being on this planet who is not a zombie.
It's also so different from the Ultimate Magneto. We're getting original Magneto again.
Original
this
recipe,
is a guy,
baby.
Yeah, this is a guy who was he is a little racist and has problems, but he's a good guy deep down.
Yeah.
He's not gonna kill a kid, as opposed to Ultimate Magneto, who would eat a kid and has bragged about it.
Yeah, I think you look at original Magneto, and I think it was Chris Claremont who said that he wrote Magneto as a good man who has done terrible things and been in some terrible situations. And so that's kind of what you get from this Magneto. He is a hero in this universe because he's the last survivor and the one to lead this surviving resistance movement.
If push comes to shove, Magneto will do the right thing, which I think is admirable.
Exactly.
Yeah. Magneto's, like you said, not a bad guy. He's just a good man who does bad things.
Yeah, deep down, he's a good guy, but he has done some terrible things.
Yeah.
But then back on the Ultimate Universe, Johnny and Ben are both looking for Reed, and they go to Sue, and she's like, well, I haven't seen him. And so they go look for him in his lab and find the teleporter that he made. So things are getting set up here, and we cut back to the zombie universe where Magneto takes Reed to his underground shelter in this old abandoned subway station. And he's leading this resistance with 3 people. There's really...
It's not a resistance.
Yeah.
It's really a
it's
refugee group.
It's just a group of refugees. It's literally 3 other people. There's a cop who's with them, and she already distrusts Reed. And then there's a father named Danny Glidewell and his daughter Mindy.
Who is a 15-year-old and diabetic.
Yeah, so she's not going to last long without her insulin, and so they're desperate.
But that's something admirable I found about Magneto is the reason he was out was because he was looking for insulin for her, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because as soon as the zombie apocalypse happens, he's like, mutants, humans, I don't care. At least we're not zombies. Desperate times, man.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. But also, I feel I don't know, isn't the thing that, most humans will, have, not the X gene, but the thing to pass down the X gene, so.
Yeah.
There's a future mutant race in, those two people.
He's like, I'm putting aside our differences now. I survived the Holocaust. I feel like this is a billion times worse, if I'm being honest.
But
Like,
I they think it shows something that like it's like why were you out? I was looking for like insulin insulin.
yeah, he's being very heroic in this story.
Yeah. And Reed later will too when he like tries to mix it so it's the right dose for her, which is very kind of him.
Yeah. But Reed
Yeah.
explains to everyone who he is and that he's from another universe. And then while explaining, he then realizes, oh shit. Because they're like, hey, the zombies probably want to go to your universe too. And he's like, oh no, with my teleporter, I've left the door open to my universe. And the issue ends with the ultimate Fantastic Four waiting in Reed's lab and seeing the teleporter activate and the zombified Fantastic Four on the other side. And they come right over to the Ultimate Universe.
And the next issue just opens with them freaking out, and Sue goes, "It's okay, I have force field." And Zombie Sue goes, "I've been doing force field since you were a kindergartner. This is nothing to me."
Yeah, there's a lot of comments in this storyline about how much younger the Ultimate Fantastic Four are than their 616 counterparts.
Yeah.
And that's true, especially because on this zombified universe, these are basically, for all intents and purposes, the 616 Fantastic Four, but they've just been turned into zombies. It's like different
Yeah.
circumstances, but fundamentally the same characters. And so it's an interesting commentary because the Ultimate Universe is full of much younger versions and it's such a new universe and they still haven't reached their prime yet. I mean, you look at Ultimate Spider-Man and he's still a teenager, whereas main
Yeah.
universe Spider-Man is an adult at this point in the story. And at this point, he was still married. What? Who said that? But like, you know, the Avengers are a more established superhero group. Like the Fantastic Four are more of a family at this point. Reed and Sue have
Yeah.
2 kids. The X-Men
Yeah.
have gone through so many iterations of the team. So this Ultimate Universe is so new and so young. If a few years in, even they're still like just getting started by comparison.
One thing I find interesting is that around this time-ish, within a few issues, Spider-Man, 616 Spider-Man could beat the shit out of Kingpin, and Ultimate Spider-Man is the other way around. He cannot like fight Kingpin
He's
head on head.
tiny by comparison.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, then we see Sue is holding off the zombies with her force field, and so she, Ben, and Johnny escape into the other room, and they have 5 layers of doors between them and the zombies.
But Reed just squishes through the cracks like a liquid.
It's horrifying. This zombie Reed squishes through 5 layers of airtight doors, is what they say, and he looks like silly putty or like Play-Doh emerging from the cracks. And so yeah, the Thing and the Human Torch fight him off before the Invisible Woman finally uses her power in a way where she collapses the left synapse of Reed's brain and brain damages him. That's how powerful she is. She can do with that with her invisible force field, go inside someone's head with her force field in such a tiny, devious way and do such damage. This is why she's the most powerful member, easily.
Yeah. She's done this in not Marvel Zombies, but in Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. I remember she does explode his head by putting the thing inside a force field inside his brain.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with her. Don't mess with the Invisible Woman.
Yeah, I think other than Doctor Doom, like they all go like, oh yeah, you don't want to push Sue too much.
Yeah,
because
literally.
I know Doctor Doom has like precautions, so she can't do that to him because even he knows.
Yeah,
you gotta prep for this.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, like, the army arrives finally in the Baxter building, and they're like, "Where's our dad?" And they're like, "Oh, Dr. Storm left suddenly. He seemed like he was on an urgent business." And we're like, "Okay, I'm sure that'll come back at some point." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Back in the zombie universe, like a big hairy animal, zombie Wolverine tracks down the survivors. He goes like, "I smell food,"
which is really funny because on the same page you see Ultimate Reed slinking around the zombie universe, and he's just flattened up on the ground, just trying to slither his way around the city.
This is why I find stretchy powers to be so disgusting. Like, look, I know it's good. It just looks disgusting. You gotta admit it.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially after seeing that disgusting Play-Doh scene with Zombie Reed and all the shit he did, I'm like, yeah, these can be really gross when people want them to be. And more often than not, they do for some reason. Because, like, when he uses his powers creatively, quote unquote, it can be kind of gross.
Same with Plastic Man, actually.
Yeah. At least Plastic Man,
Uh,
that's done for like comedic effect. He's
and I
he's more
know
goofy than gross.
look, I have a controversial opinion. For Miss Marvel, the new one, I'm not gonna say I like the way they changed it, but I like the MCU powers more than the stretchy powers. And because the writer admits, like, yeah, no, the stretchy powers are kind of gross if you think about it.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. The light powers seem a little more generic to me.
Come on, they're like Green Lantern powers. People love Green Lantern.
Yeah, but Ms. Marvel's her own thing. She's not Green Lantern.
Look, every DC character, Marvel character, has like a version of them that have the same powers. I don't know.
We don't need a Green Lantern counterpart. I just want Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, but stretchy powers are gross. They're nasty.
I think when Ms. Marvel does it, it's fun.
That is fair. Like the her stretchy powers are objectively less disgusting.
And there's a really funny line from the Ms. Marvel comics, just to get on a Ms. Marvel tangent for a second here, where Carol Danvers is asking Kamala about her powers and how she feels about them. And she's like, yeah, at first I thought they were really gross and weird, but now I think they're really gross and cool.
Weren't they written to be gross? Is what the writer said. Like, yeah, I wrote them to be gross and in your face.
Yeah, that's true. And like it's also like this physical metamorphosis, this transformation she goes through, and it's supposed to be uncomfortable and unsettling and weird for the character too. And she's trying
Yeah.
to like get used to this and like learn to be okay with it and learn to accept it and love it and embrace it as who she is. Anyways,
Yeah.
back to the comic.
So the survivors are like, Magneto goes, we gotta save their world, and Reed goes like, maybe they could do a thing where they could just escape to the Ultimate Universe, especially because there's only like 4 of them left, so why not?
It's really funny because there's this whole debate, and Danny Glidewell is like, my daughter is more important than anything else. She's my priority. And Mindy's like, hey, I would rather die than live like this. Like, this is a shitty world we're living in. And like,
Yeah.
I'm going to die soon anyways if I don't get my insulin. Because when Reed
Yeah.
returns, he's like, yeah, I found this and that, but I couldn't find exactly what you needed for your insulin. And also, the tower's all blocked off the Baxter building. Like, I can't get to my teleporter. But it's so funny how it takes them so long to realize, like, wait a minute, if we get to the teleporter, we can all just go to the Ultimate Universe. We don't all need to stay here. We don't all need to sacrifice ourselves to save Reed's world. We can all just go to Reed's world and save ourselves.
There's only like 4 of them left, but also I bet this is like some weird batshit crazy ideas of yours to get the regular Magneto and Ultimate to replace the crazy Ultimate Magneto. You just get
it would work.
It would work. Though even he would go, man,
you guys
Charles
are messed up. Charles sucks.
Charles is a dick.
Jean sucks. Wolverine sucks. This universe is messed up, man.
It's like, I should be the leader of the X-Men because I'm kind of less of a dick than Charles.
Somehow I'm a better person than Charles Xavier in this universe. But yeah, then as soon as they decide, all right, we're going to make our way to the tower and we're all going to go, then the zombies crash in on their hideout because zombie Wolverine tracked them there. And Magneto manages to hold them off by just throwing a giant subway car at them.
Yeah, because Magneto, I always love how just ridiculously powerful he is at like his lower state.
He's OP, man.
Yeah, he just throws cars at people.
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, Magneto.
Yeah.
But of course, they run outside and they go to the surface, and of course, they're greeted by the entire Marvel Universe. In this panel, I swear to God, there are so many. You have everyone. The fucking Inhumans are there, the Avengers are there, the X-Men, Alpha Flight, the New Mutants. Everyone's waiting for them. They spared no one for this. They were just
the artist went full out. The artist went all in.
Greg Land was like, I want to draw Cloak and Dagger. I want to draw Elektra. I want to draw Hercules. I need everyone there. I want Power Man and Iron Fist.
Oh, I forgot those guys are there too. Yeah.
And then there's like Giant Man, Hank Pym, and he's like, I want to eat the girls. And I'm like, oh, of course Hank Pym would say that. That's disgusting.
Oh, this is when Hank Pym was a creep.
Yeah, I mean, he's never fully redeemed himself in my eyes, but I have mixed feelings on Hank Pym.
I can't believe Mike Douglas, he always plays a dick in whatever role he's in, including Hank Pym. And Mike Douglas, Hank Pym, is less creepy than 616.
It's so weird.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, man, you guys made him a dick and he's still a better person.
Which is crazy, yeah. Somehow his version is more likable. And I still think they could have done more with that Hank Pym, but that's neither here nor there.
He does brag about his sex life in that one scene in Ant-Man Quantumania.
I'm pretty sure he said that he didn't hook up with anyone other than Janet.
Oh, okay. So Janet's the one.
Yeah.
I did not see that movie. I saw that scene.
You don't waste your time.
I almost went to the theater to watch it.
That
It's
would have
like
been a waste of time and money. Don't do it.
I regret not watching the Marvels because I heard that one was fun
That was fun.
in theater.
It
Yeah.
wasn't great, but it was fun.
Yeah, but like sometimes all you need is a fun thing. It doesn't need to be great. It just needs to be good enough to be fun.
That's true, yeah. Just like these
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
But yeah, then, they're surrounded by Marvel zombies, and then suddenly all the zombies go blind, and it turns
Mhm.
out that the Invisible Woman, Sue, and the rest of the Ultimate Fantastic Four have made it to this universe. So
Yeah.
they've arrived to save the day. Sue made all of their optic nerves invisible, so they can't see shit. And then Johnny
And
burns them a path to the Baxter building.
where Ultimate Hulk arrives, and we finally get the scene where we get a Hulk versus Thing match for Ultimate,
Yeah.
and Thing just one shots the Hulk and goes, "I always knew I could beat you."
Yeah, the Thing was like, oh, I've been waiting for this. I always wanted to see if I could beat the Hulk. And he just one-shots him. And I'm like, damn, good for you. I honestly was kind of disappointed because I was like, that's it? I wanted to see a full Thing versus zombified Hulk. That would have been cool.
Well, hot take. In the versions of Hulk we get until you never really feel like he could take on the Hulk. I know in 616 he and Hulk could do like a decent fight. But so far, like every feat of the Thing we've seen so far has not been very ultra impressive compared to the Hulk, with the exception of maybe the newest movie and this one. But that's also because Hulk's been depowered a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know. I love a Hulk versus Thing matchup. Some of my favorite fights are the Hulk versus the Thing. Oh well, maybe next time, whenever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they go to the Baxter building and the Thing just throws a truck at it, and Reed's like, you could have just used the door if you wanted to make an entrance, which is very funny. And Sue uses her force fields to like levitate them up to the teleporter. The power's out, so Reed gets Magneto to generate like enough power for the entire machine. But of course, as they're all going on the teleporter, Magneto's like, oh, like I gotta stay behind so I can like actually close this gateway. Someone has to do it. Like I don't want to stay, but I have to make sure that they don't get over to your universe.
And this shows how heroic regular Magneto is. He's willing to risk his life for non-mutants just to give everyone a chance at life.
Yeah.
And he's willing to die for it.
It's a noble sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so he stays behind, and then everyone else, including the cop and the father and his daughter, they all teleport back to the Ultimate Universe. And it seems like all's well that ends well, because the teleporter is destroyed. It like blows the fuck up. And the story is continued from there, not just in Ultimate Fantastic Four, but in Marvel Zombies. It picks up right from there in the first miniseries. So maybe we'll cover it at one point. I would love to.
I think we should. It's Ultimate adjacent enough, and it's on the reading list technically.
Yeah, technically. I love Marvel Zombies, so that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially, but I think you're right. Maybe we should record it and release it just in time for the new show.
Yeah.
And then we'll review the show. Hey!
Right around Halloween, spooky season.
My birthday.
Happy birthday, Josh.
Isn't it your birthday this month?
Yeah, it's gonna be September 2nd. It's my birthday.
My phone says your birthday is tomorrow, by the way.
Your phone is lying to you.
Why? No, why do you keep saying my phone lies? Like, oh, it spells my name wrong. It got my last name wrong. It got my birthday wrong.
You were the one who spelled my name wrong. Josh has me in his contacts as Nabeel. Naveel.
It's not my fault your name can't be spelled by spell check.
You can correct it.
Yeah, but that takes an effort.
Oh my gosh.
Like, to be fair, my legal name cannot be spelled by spell check as well. So
you can
actually,
do it.
I can, but it's a hassle. I also cannot spell my last name. It only knows my last name because it's like it knows my email, honestly, which is like
that's scary.
Weird. Yeah, I mean, like my phone knows my email because my email is on my phone.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, everyone returns to the Baxter building, and then they find that Dr. Storm is back, Sue and Johnny's father, and he's there with, drumroll please, Sue and Johnny's mom. Dr. Mary Storm is in the house, and this final page is horrendous. This final splash page of Sue and Johnny's reaction to this, it's hideous to look at. It's horrifying. I will post it on our Instagram because it's just horrendous. This shot of what should be this emotionally stunning page of Sue reacting to her long-lost mother, who's been gone for 15 years, who they thought was dead. and her face looks horrifying. Josh is doing the face, and it's just her mouth wide open, no teeth, head
She also
tilted to
looks
the
like
side.
a teenager, which she kind of is in this universe, but still.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And that's the end of our Marvel Zombies arc. I thought it was fun. I also feel like it was too short, honestly. I felt like I would
I
have
felt
enjoyed a longer arc on this. I feel like there is more they could have done with it.
they do more, spoilers, they do more with the zombies.
Yeah, later on in this series in Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yeah, because the zombie Fantastic Four are still in the Ultimate Universe,
Yeah,
technically.
because they have captured them now in the Baxter
Yeah.
building, and they haven't destroyed the bodies or killed them or anything. So
Which they should have, in my opinion, but
yeah, because like they're technically not alive, so they wouldn't be killing them.
Okay, that the don't no killing rule really only applies like to Spider-Man. I feel like Wolverine kills a ton of people.
Yes.
Iron Man has guns. Captain
Mhm.
America I was gonna say he sometimes has guns, but in this universe he definitely has guns.
Yeah, Ultimate Captain America is strapped. Yeah.
He shoved Wolverine's dick off.
Yeah. Like,
The only other person I know to have purposely done that is 616 Punisher.
yeah, who obviously is armed to the teeth. He's the Punisher. I mean, come on. But yeah, man. It was fun. It was a good time. It's so impactful, too. I mean, I just love it for that. Can you believe this then spawned like a whole franchise basically within Marvel of the Marvel
Yeah.
Zombies? It's got its own like cult following that is now going to make its
That's
way into other media, into animation.
I would actually say, so other than the What If, we actually saw zombie Deadpool. Taylor showed up in this Deadpool movie too. The Deadpool, zombie Deadpool from Marvel Zombies.
Oh, you mean like
Technically,
the floating head?
yeah, isn't that that's the zombie Deadpool from
Yep.
Marvel Zombies?
Also played by
So
Nathan Fillion.
really,
Oh yeah, he does.
hadn't.
He's like the floating head Deadpool. That's like a zombie with like the propeller hat.
Yeah, I did not know that was Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, me neither until very recently. Fun little cameo.
So wait, so who does Taylor Swift play in Deadpool?
Oh, I don't even know.
I know, like she kept teasing about it, but I have no idea that was some marketing gimmick.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm over Taylor at this point.
Whoa, we were just talking about Taylor like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too much.
What'd she do, man?
I don't know.
What'd she
I
do?
kind of lost interest. Like, I think Midnight's was the last album I seriously listened to.
Which one's that?
That's the one with like Anti-Hero.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't know who Sabrina Carpenter was until I saw her on TV. And I'm like, who's this Sabrina Carpenter? Why is she such a big deal? Why does everyone hate her? I don't know.
You've officially become old.
I don't think I'm old, but yeah, I feel like when it comes to media, I am old.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's because I know like new movies, I know new actors and actresses, like Tim Chalamet.
Tim
and all that.
Chalamet.
Yeah, Tim Chalamet. He was in Dune and The King.
It's Timothy Chalamet. Yeah.
Oh, but I just don't know musicians. I know writers, I know actors. I just don't know music. I just can't get behind new music. Like it just feels like so much of a hassle to me, in my opinion.
Fair.
Yeah. Like I don't know what this behind the scenes guys were. That Korean band that then went to the army.
BTS.
Yes.
I hope you're listening, Annika.
Is she obsessed with BTS?
She's obsessed with K-pop. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm Korean and I don't like K-pop. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of indie music because not because I don't like as much as I think that's like also a lot of hard work, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to study to have fun.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel I'm in the weird category. Maybe it's because I am Korean. By the way, if you don't know, audience, you now know my ethnicity. But I actually do know indie K bands, so I prefer that.
All right then. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Any final thoughts on these issues, Josh?
I love them. I did not expect to love this weird zombie segue as much as I did. It's fun. I think we really need to do Marvel Zombies now. I saw it on the list of so we have like an official list that we've been mostly following, and I kind of was like, does it need to be done, this Marvel Zombies? Because it's just like in the middle of the list, it's just like a block for Raid Marvel Zombies ? And I'm like, I think we should.
Why not?
Yeah.
We'll pull our followers on Instagram and see what they have to say. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Next episode we'll be talking about the next few issues, Ultimate Fantastic Four's issues 24 through 26. So we'll be continuing along this ride. Yeah. So in the meantime, where can our listeners email us if they want to get in touch, Josh?
ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com. Remember, that's comics plural and podcast singular. ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. Email us with your thoughts on the issues we read, on our podcast, on what you think about what we're doing, what you like, what maybe we could do better. Maybe just about anything, really, about comics in
Yeah.
general. We'd love to hear from you and maybe read it on the podcast.
We love to hear your comments and thoughts on various things,
Exactly.
and we would love to respond.
Well put. And we also have an Instagram account at Ultimate Comics Podcast, a TikTok at Ultimate Comics Podcast, and we're on YouTube with full video, just Ultimate Comics Podcast. So you can just watch our full episodes on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, next time we'll be back with Ultimate Fantastic Four. But until then, take care and make mine Ultimate Marvel. Bye bye.